Welcome back to episode 158 of the Block Runner Podcast. I'm your host, William, always here with your co-host, Diman.
What's up, everybody? What's up, Willis?
All right, on the sticks, we got TJ.
Hello.
All right, big news.
Special edition, dude.
Breaking news.
Yeah, big time breaking news. If you guys been with us forever and ever,
Yeah.
you guys know a lot about our past and history, right? For you new Block Runner Moon Boys,
Enthusiasts.
whatever you want to call them,
Yeah.
yourselves. Yeah, we do have like a lot more to us than meets the eye, right? We're not just like a BRC20 AI enthusiasts,
Yeah.
crypto in general enthusiasts. We actually do.
We're also Metaverse enthusiasts.
Yes, and we've been deeply embedded into that ecosystem for almost 4 years.
Yeah, since 2019 at least.
Correct. And we started this podcast roughly around the same time frame. And
Yeah.
but once we discovered the metaverse, we just could not escape it. It was
It was a black hole.
right.
We touched the event horizon, and that was it.
So do you want to start with the announcement, or do we want to kind of like go down memory lane first? What do you think?
Well, no, let's start with the announcement.
Okay.
So the announcement is we raised $3 million for our startup called MetaZone.
Oh yeah, dude. I think that deserves a clap, TJ. It's about fucking time, dude. We could talk about this.
Yeah. So if you were wondering why I start all the videos with at MetaZone.io, Rovi AI, and
I know, right?
or I end the videos with that, it's like, well, that's why, because
Yeah.
that's what we've been working on for 4 years.
Yeah, you're probably wondering, like, dude, why are you guys constantly plugging these, like,
Yeah, obscure projects.
that nobody knows about yet?
Yeah.
But now, we're basically public at this point.
Yeah.
I feel like whenever you get to a seed stage in any industry, you know,
Yeah,
whether it's Web 2 or Web 3.
You're in the mix now.
Exactly. You're in the conversation. People actually want to hear what it is you're contributing or developing, right?
Yeah, boy, we got a lot to say.
Agreed.
I mean, we've been saying the exact same things for the past 4 years, but now
Yeah.
there are probably more eyeballs, more ears.
Yeah, that used to be our focus of this channel, right? Like, again, we started the whole Block Runner thing just being enthusiasts of crypto, and then we discovered the metaverse. And then once we began our development journey into the metaverse, that was largely the focus of this channel for about a year.
Yeah, it was.
Basically all of 2020, right?
Yeah.
As we continue to build MetaZone, which we will explain in a second exactly what the platform is.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we got into Decentraland. That was like our beachhead. That was our entry experience to the metaverse, right?
Yeah, when we first discovered Decentraland, it was just a black and gray grid on
Yeah.
a 2D interface, right?
Pretty much.
That was it. And it was we were speculating as to what it would look like, but it was a completely decentralized world where people own the assets.
Yeah.
All the stuff that we like about Bittensor and the graph and
Exactly.
Bitcoin and Decentraland, like it matches everything.
Yeah, we heard the cool narratives, right? Of like, it can never be shut down,
Yeah.
right? Just like everyone's saying decentralized AI will never be able to be shut down, right?
That's
That's
right.
the principle of like distributed systems where there's no central point of control,
Yeah.
right? And to apply that to something as cool as like the metaverse, coming from like a gaming background myself, playing World of Warcraft for many, many, many years,
Yeah.
I intuitively understood like the value of like a digital economy and, you know, digital socialization, all these different layers that make up the metaverse experience.
Mm-hmm.
I've already lived through it. And
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
it wasn't much of a stretch for me to kind of like buy into the concept,
Yeah. It was like a prototype version of a
Right.
ownable digital environment.
except the only thing missing in that was like the actual ownable aspect.
Yeah. The
right?
blockchain part. Yeah.
And of course the decentralization as well.
Mm-hmm.
But still, I understood the premise of like human beings being able to fully immerse themselves into a virtual environment
Mm-hmm.
and completely escaping like their physical priorities. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or their whatever it is that you
That brings you down in reality.
whatever your motivation is to like, you know, leave the physical realm to participate in the virtual.
Yeah.
Most cases it's just that much more entertaining and engaging than like the physical stuff.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
not everybody has like the most amazing of lives, right?
Yeah.
A lot of things are required in order to have that, like financial resources, right?
Yeah. That's true.
There's a lot of people on this planet that don't have access to that. Therefore, the virtual environment has much more opportunity within
Mhm.
it, right? So those are the things that stuck in our head. And then of course we have a co-founder named Oscar, aka Corv. He's not here with us right now, but you can go watch our previous videos. He's been around.
Mm-hmm.
Hard at work
Yeah.
for the last several years, cranking out everything, essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Until recently, until we hired some devs and all that. But
Yeah, that's what comes with the coolness of like raising funds. Like now we don't have to do it alone.
Yeah, that's right.
Now we're in a phase where we could build a team of like-minded individuals who also align with our vision and understand all the things that like we literally dream about, right?
Yeah. Did you know that we're more than just a YouTube channel? We also built MetaZone, the first app store for the metaverse. Buy, sell, and explore a new class of digital assets like our flagship game Rovi.ai. Support us by collecting your digital assets through MetaZone at metazone.io. Like, comment, and subscribe to stay updated. All right, back to the video.
I mean, it's tough, especially nowadays, because I think the metaverse has gone through like a couple boom and bust cycles already.
Mm-hmm.
Ever since Meta pivoted and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
Or Facebook pivoted to Meta.
Yeah, like Metaverse was the talk of the town for a few months there.
Yeah, big time.
And then it started to die off once Meta started disclosing what they were working on. It was like legless avatars, and they look like kind of cartoony in a way that you wouldn't expect from, a $1 trillion company. Yeah,
so we kind of got to dive deep into why we think the metaverse hype died down, because there's a lot of parallels in technology as to like, when things first get introduced, they don't necessarily come across as like valuable. Obvious. Yeah, obvious to the masses. Like, dude, there's no value here.
Yeah.
The internet experience, the same thing.
Yeah.
In its early days, most people were like, dude, why would I send emails? Like we have, I got a mailman who comes to my house every day, and
what's wrong with that?
Flip up the little flag and he'll take my mail out. Like, why would I want this internet?
Yeah.
Things like this. It takes a while.
Even before that was personal computers.
Yes. Yeah.
Like, what would you need a personal computer for?
Exactly. I'm smart enough. Yeah. I have a library. I could go to.
I can read.
I can open up my, what do they call those old books that had like all this
encyclopedias?
Yes, I could do that. I don't need none of this computational strength.
Yeah.
Stuff like this. So the metaverse is facing the same like barriers of resistance.
Yeah, and the ask for such an interesting metaverse is very tall. Like it's very difficult to achieve.
Yeah.
So it's going to be one of those things that it's going to take some time for people to realize like, hey, this is the next version of the internet.
Yeah. Just like it did for crypto, right?
Yeah, same.
Like for Bitcoin, like it's the first, I don't even know how many years of Bitcoin's existence. Nobody really bought into it except for like the core community, the early pioneers, the innovators, whatever you want to call them.
Yeah, you could say anarchists,
libertarians, whatever you want. Yeah, whatever you identify yourself as.
Yeah.
You had to buy into the premise that like the world needed an alternate financial system, right?
Mm-hmm.
In case of like our traditional financial monetary system, for whatever reason, experiences like a setback or a collapse, there needs to be a plan B for civilization.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. Satoshi, I mean, he was very clear about it in his white paper, and like he even inscribed an article in like one of the first blocks of Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Of the collapse of 2008.
Mm-hmm.
And so he was very well aware of what was needed, like from a human level, in terms of money.
Yeah.
And he was able to solve one of the biggest computational problems, computer science problems.
Yeah.
And he built it and deployed it. Like that's quite the innovation. And so, like it's just, and then even then it's been 14 years, and like how many users, how many wallets exist? Like 400 million or something like that?
Right now?
Yeah. For Bitcoin.
I think so, like 450 million last I checked.
Yeah, that's just, like 5% of the population.
Yeah, like so even like as big as Bitcoin has come, like as far as like public consciousness, like I think most people are aware that Bitcoin exists.
Yeah.
But only like a small fragmentation of like humanity is actually like
engaged.
Dabbled in.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that just kind of like paints a picture of exactly how long it takes for these new like paradigms that emerge from technology or civilization, whatever.
Yeah.
To actually come to like maturity, where we have like a majority.
Yeah, and the speculation, I remember us talking about it when we were interviewing Andreas Antonopoulos, like how fast the adoption curve is going to be for crypto. And we figured it would be a lot faster because of the internet, right? We already have like an extremely fast access to communication. Whereas before the internet, there was no way really to communicate other than like the physical space.
Like getting it on the news basically or something like that.
Yeah. And so the adoption curve for the internet, you would expect to be a lot slower than crypto, right?
Yeah, definitely.
So crypto should be a lot faster, but we're 14 years in and it's, I don't know, the adoption is not as fast as I thought it would.
Yeah, I understand like the velocity of how information travels on the like pathways of the internet should accelerate things, but again, it's like think about what it is you're trying to actually like topple. It's
Yeah,
like,
that's a good point.
That's
like
what's
the most foundational thing of society.
exactly. You have to go through so many different layers of barriers, resistance in order to get like all of humanity on board. And we're talking, like foundational,
such a good
governmental, societal, embedded within like everybody's like experience, right? Physical experience.
And it was different for the internet. Internet is just like you. All of a sudden, with the internet, you can contact anybody in the world. Like that's pretty cool.
Yeah. So let's draw this parallel to what is the metaverse? Like, what are these barriers of? Because I think you said 5% for crypto. Like metaverse. I mean, it depends on your scope and context of your definition of what the metaverse is. If you're saying it's just like humanity's ability to, I don't know,
be in 3D
like
virtually.
Or just, again, like to see value in the experience of a virtual environment. Like then, there's a significant portion of humans already engaged in the metaverse, right? If you're talking about like the Fortnite, Roblox, Minecraft player base games.
Yeah.
Those are examples of people who see value in the virtual, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, not necessarily the context of the metaverse that we envision is something a little bit different than that. Like gaming is like a prototype example of like a value that can be created from a virtual environment that human beings can seek and understand intuitively, like this is something I want to take part in. Right?
Yeah.
But we think the real metaverse has much more economic implications and like
accessibility across the planet
and like vitality implications in the sense that like this is going to become a fundamental like source of sustainability for a lot of humans on Earth, right?
Yeah.
And we have a lot of reasons to believe that, right? Not just because of where things just seem to be naturally headed, like from the physical towards the digital. More and more of our lives are ending up more digitized.
Sure.
But think about what's going to happen once the AI matures and automation matures and the displacement of human beings basically from the labor economy.
Yeah.
What the fuck are we going to do with our lives, right?
I totally agree. I mean, we've had this conversation a number of times where, in my opinion, I think most humans aren't really contributing to society in any meaningful way, like people, serving food or folding clothes at a marketplace. Like that's not really contributing to society. And so if you look at it from like an objective point of view, most humans aren't contributing, right? And in the future, when AI is pretty much doing everything and automation is pretty much doing everything, you would assume that most humans are also not doing anything.
Yeah.
And so we already
by
have
force.
that. Yeah, by force. We already have that.
Yeah.
So I guess it's so what are people going to be doing with their free time? I mean, it could literally be anything.
Yeah.
And we suspect it's going to be a portion of it's going to be spent in the metaverse.
Yeah, it's just one of those things like what is value? Like what are people, what are we humans in tandem with AI? AI is going to become, we're basically going to have to come up with a scenario where we cohabitate with artificial life forms on Earth. And like, so what, if they're doing all the things that we valued ourselves as far as like human contribution towards like sustaining livelihood on Earth, then where's the value in anything? Like how can we potentially produce some sort of value? So,
well, I mean, you know me, dude. I'm always researching all kinds of like AI apps to like, because I'm always trying to figure out, is there a better way to do what I'm already doing?
Yeah.
Right. That way it increases my time to do other stuff or, just makes what I do much better. Right. And it turns out that you can't just like use AI and like copy and paste it and publish it like on Twitter.
True.
You can't publish it anywhere really without editing it because it's just not good enough.
At its current version, I guess, people are already starting to like be able to just read it and tell right away, or even look at an image and tell right away. Like this is for sure from Midjourney. Like it's we've already like trained ourselves to distinguish what's human and what's not, which is good. But I don't think we've determined yet like the value in what's human and what's not. But still, extrapolate into the future, eventually these AI systems are going to become much more refined and they're going to output much more human-like quality, if that's what we want at the end of the day. I don't know. I don't even think we ourselves have figured out exactly. Do we want these AI applications to be like us or something transcends to a level that we recognize them to be, more valuable than what we can do?
Yeah, one of the problems that isn't really obvious in the context of AI.
Sorry, we're starting to go down this AI rabbit hole now. Yeah. We might as well, dude. We're already there.
Yeah. Was that I'm part of what I like doing is researching like the different AI apps and just learning about new stuff, right? New projects, BRC20s, whatever it is. I like learning about it.
Yeah.
But what I've discovered that may not be so obvious, and it kind of is. There's like this second brain movement already, but it's so difficult to like understand like these new technologies and like be able to recall the stuff that you've learned in the past.
Yeah.
And so things like personal AI and a new app that I've been trying is called mem.ai. You just dump all that information in there. Just whatever you find that you like, you dump it in there.
Yeah.
And then when you're doing research on the BRC20 project that you found in the past, some article, some tweet or whatever, you go back to those apps, you query, right? You ask the AI is like, hey, what is that BRC20 project that I research?
Yeah.
And it brings it all up.
Yeah.
And so it is literally the second brain. And I think that's could be like one of the killer apps for AI to, I don't know, get into. But now that we're like transitioning away from like this like human centric economic force and labor force and transitioning to AI, like the metaverse is going to be that much more important because there's like a whole new access layer for humans to participate in.
Yeah, and that sounds like a stretch. It's like to people who aren't, again, like maybe they don't have the personal experience that people like, like me have had, where I've been able to embed myself into a virtual economy or ecosystem for many, many, many years, and I didn't see any downside in the moment. You know what I mean? So if you haven't had that type of life experience, then it's probably a big stretch for you to even fathom the idea of like, how are humans going to find value in like an artificial virtual environment, right?
Yeah.
Like, how's that ever going to become more valuable than like what's important to our physical existence?
I hear where you're going with that, but what I'm starting to understand is a lot of the big projects in the metaverse, they're starting to veer towards like entertainment aspects of the metaverse, and really what they're doing is they're pinging the part of our brain where we like to interact with other humans.
Yeah. Well, there's tremendous value in that.
Yeah.
Again, another thing, not only are we displacing ourselves from like the labor economy, we're also becoming more and more isolated from each other.
That's right.
Because we're inventing and creating more and more like mechanisms or systems where we don't necessarily have to like leave our domiciles to do anything. Like everything just kind of comes to us.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of like societal, cultural happenings that are going to kind of contribute toward our thesis.
Yeah, that's so true.
I mean?
It could exacerbate the current problem with social apps where people get more depressed because everybody's living their quote unquote best life.
Yeah.
And we'll get more depressed when we're interacting with people a lot less. Right. And so the metaverse provides some sort of avenue to tap into that part of the brain.
And that's another one of those things that if you haven't had these types of experiences in your life, it'll be a stretch to imagine. It's like you can't form like deep, personal relationships in virtual worlds. That's fake news.
Yeah.
Those aren't real relationships. But again, I spent almost a decade playing World of Warcraft, and I formed some of the deepest friendships I've ever had in my life, where like we couldn't wait to get home and like talk to each other and meet up in the virtual world. It's like, dude, I missed you, dude. Spent all day at crappy school, man. Let's go grind, stuff like this,
Yeah.
And I sound like a crazy person, I'm sure, to the uninitiated, right?
Yeah. I mean, ultimately, you're talking about other human beings.
Of course. And these weren't AI people.
No, absolutely. And what I'm saying is it's a lot easier for people like us to find people like us on the internet rather than people around us physically.
Agreed. Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
That I think is one of the most misunderstood or underappreciated like value aspects of the metaverse. Like just it solves the dilemmas of geography.
Yeah, exactly.
Geo positioning limitations of physical
pure
reality.
Luck.
Right. In most cases, if you don't even have like the resources, you can't get yourself out of whatever geo positioning that like the universe has bestowed on you upon birth.
Yeah.
But in most cases, for most humans on Earth, whatever you're assigned, you stay there for the majority of your life. You don't have an escape route. You don't have another like a vertical of opportunity to
to progress and like better yourself.
Exactly. That's one of the major limitations imposed by our physical existence. So by creating a new layer on top of that that's virtual.
Yeah.
Now it's more accessible to anybody as so long as you have a connection to the internet.
Mm-hmm.
And the whole VR thing, like that's like a future prospect to where.
Yeah, that's just whether or not you want to be even more immersed into that environment. You don't have to. It could be on your phone.
Yeah, like I said, I had all that, all those things that tapped into my receptors that gave me the pleasure and the sense of fulfillment. Everything that was all a 2D experience.
Yeah, yeah.
I never had a freaking headset, but I understand the value premise of full immersion.
Yeah,
but there's obviously a lot of barriers to that itself, like the hardware,
fatigue.
Yeah, nausea.
Nausea. Yeah, tunnel vision. I mean,
correct. There's a whole process of progression that has to happen along that technological timeline as well. But they're in parallel, right?
That's funny you mentioned that because Apple next week.
Yeah.
I guess
next week?
In a few days, yeah.
WWDC?
Yeah.
Oh man,
they're looking to announce a headset, a virtual reality headset, a mixed reality. It could be AR, it could be VR. We don't know.
I'm speculating there has to be some pretty heavy VR elements because the creator of Oculus chimed in, right, and said like this is the coolest headset he's ever seen or something like that.
He said he quote the Apple headset is so good,
so good, so very good.
Yeah, he didn't say good. He said so good.
Correct. So that's the guy who pretty much like brought in the idea of like VR to the masses, right?
Basically screen on your faces.
Yes. And if you know anything about Oculus, it was acquired by Facebook.
Yeah.
Now is Meta's like flagship product, I guess, to onboard people into the metaverse.
Yeah, I remember that acquisition. I thought it was so weird.
Oh, yeah, it was.
Like, why the hell is Facebook buying a virtual reality headset? It doesn't make any sense. Maybe they're thinking about the metaverse back in those days, dude.
Of course. They had to. Why would they risk so much?
Yeah.
It didn't start with the name change.
No,
definitely not.
No, it didn't.
There was like a long, hard, like soul-searching process as a company. It's like, dude, at some point, like this social media stuff is going to dry out, which Facebook, I mean, even though there's so many users, it's just how many people would use it on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah, I do not. I haven't used it since like college.
Correct. So like things are much more like TikTok is taking over. Social media is very finicky. And I think they understood that as a company. So like they took a big bet, right? And we're starting to see like China come out publicly also taking a big bet on this metaverse thing.
Yeah. Yeah. They're building a whole industrial complex of everything that you can imagine. Like it's happening in the metaverse.
They released a whole white paper of like a strategy. Mm-hmm. And this just shows how far ahead like China is in like their interpretation of like what the future is going to behold.
Yeah, but you know what? The Asian communities, they hold digital value differently. Yeah, it's different. They have like celebrities that are digital.
Totally, 100%.
Like purely digital.
They've embraced the metaverse way more than like the Western culture has, right?
And they go hard on it too.
I agree.
It's crazy.
I totally agree. And that's what I mean by like, we're headed in that direction anyways, right?
Yeah.
Regardless of any like socioeconomic happenings of the future, like this is just like a human's evolutionary pathway for whatever reason.
Yeah.
As like more and more, silicon gets introduced into our physical world, like it's contributing towards our like siphoning out of it.
Not only
what I mean?
Physical, but also like biological. We're about to inject machines into our brains, dude, through Neuralink.
Well, that's like the ultimate end game, right?
Yeah, at least from Elon's perspective is how we protect ourselves from the AI.
Yeah. So we've established metaverse is inevitable. And if you subscribe to that thesis, that idea, for many different types of reasons, and then I think if you do think the metaverse is inevitable, then I think you have to at least consider the fact of like creating value within the metaverse in order for like human beings to, I guess, find their place in, and then like, of course like seize their value for themselves, which therefore will, enhance their livelihood, their sustainability through whatever outcome that happens in the physical world, right?
Yeah,
that's a mission to get behind. That's our mission as a company, as an organization, as a community, whatever. Like we see the potential value of the metaverse for that exact thing.
Yeah, 100%.
And I think that's something we're striving for, is like actually figuring out like what's going to get us there.
Yeah. And, to be clear, back in like 2019, 2020, we were talking about the metaverse just like we are right now. And we were questioning whether or not like this, was worth like spending time on, just because it was.
Oh yeah,
we were the only ones like thinking about the problems. It felt like, at least.
Yeah, we didn't have any money.
Oh no, we didn't.
we were totally bootstrapped. Again, Oscar Corv built a few games in Decentraland once it launched. Kind of like proved the concept that like there is something cool here. People found interest in these games. They wanted to play them. They wanted to know more. They were asking us, hey, when are you going to release new stuff?
Yeah.
And then it got us to thinking, it was like, all these landowners out here, all this empty land, it was just a bunch of vast sea of green.
Yeah.
Right? If there was anything deployed, it was like a builder thing, which is mostly like non-functional stuff.
Yeah.
Essentially sculptures, 3D sculptures.
Yeah, like dioramas.
Yes. The little galleries with 2D NFT pictures on them, stuff like that. That was predominantly what the metaverse was and largely still is.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? Every now and then you'll see pockets of development happening, but still, it got us to think. It's like, man, wouldn't it be nice if all these landowners somehow had access to like high quality functional content that like the kind of stuff that Corv was producing?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So why not build a platform to support that?
Yeah.
And that was literally like the inception of MetaZone in late 2019, I think. Right?
Yeah, and I mean, we were met with some resistance. People thought that the builder, specifically for Decentraland, was the thing that was going to get people involved.
Yeah.
And it just simply has not been the case and will not be the case. Like, no-code builders are important, like in the grand scheme of things, but not this early on.
I agree.
There wasn't any no-code builders back in 1980s for the internet, right? That just didn't exist, and nobody would have used it. And what you could have built in the 1980s with no-code builders would be just a tragedy compared to what we have today.
Yeah. So it brings us to the question. Okay, so what's going to make the metaverse valuable? So let's draw on these parallels. What made the internet valuable? Right?
Dude, I can go all day on this.
Well, I think we have to.
Yeah.
So to understand like what it is that MetaZone does and why metaverse enabled tokenized applications, why that is like our flagship thing. That's what we've brought into the metaverse scene.
Yeah.
Why is that so important to us? And what it supports our thesis of we can't have this like static verse experience.
Yeah.
Where there's really nothing to engage with. There's no reason to really come back and to like remain present in the virtual world, right? How did the internet solve that problem?
Well, the analogy I like to use to explain this concept that we have is, think of purchasing a laptop, just a brand new laptop from Best Buy. You get it home, and the only thing you got on it is an operating system, right? There's nothing, you can't interact with it. It's just an operating system that's just there.
And that's the way like old computers used to be, right?
Yeah, it was essentially. Well, they kind of were like that, but even old computers had applications.
Okay.
Yeah, because otherwise it's literally useless.
Okay.
Literally.
Yeah.
Unless you're a developer and you can just like code up an application just for your own personal use.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah. So that's basically what that computer would be. That product would be.
Yeah. It should be for your own use. Like,
only people who would ever buy that would
be developers.
So that is not obviously something that's very accessible.
Yeah. Or
to
market friendly. How do you sustain a business like that?
Yeah.
Right. And so imagine you get this laptop as just an operating system. You find out you really can't do anything. So what is the thing that made the internet as popular as it was? Apps. Right. All the applications we have, from Facebook all the way down to Word on Microsoft.
Yep.
That's how Microsoft became a multi-trillion-dollar company.
Yeah.
It's through Word, right? And Excel.
Yes.
Apps.
Utility.
Yeah.
Service. Functions. Useful things that like people could get their hands on and therefore leverage to, add value to their own lives.
Yeah.
Without the application layer and therefore the app developers creating these new opportunities of value.
Yeah.
There's no reason to be on the internet.
Yeah.
Period.
100%.
Or there's no reason to have a computer.
And there's no reason to be in the metaverse without these apps.
Agreed. So that's essentially our whole like
thesis
frame of thinking.
Yeah.
When it comes to approaching like what's going to make the metaverse something that's like intuitively valuable, right? When is it going to be the inflection point where people log into these virtual environments and they choose not to log out immediately?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's the ultimate like mission. Anybody who's involved in the metaverse space should be thinking with that frame of mind, in our opinion.
Yeah, I totally agree. And, this doesn't come easy, right? You
Yeah.
need to build apps. Therefore, you need developers, and they need to buy into this concept.
And even at that point, so then you start to think about, okay, I agree. The apps are the most important thing. So where's the app like infrastructure and where's the app layer to tap into?
Yeah,
like,
where are the tools?
Where's the app store? How do I launch these things? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The typical things like an app developer in Web 2 understands and
Yeah.
Is very like matured. You have options even.
Mm-hmm.
You want to launch an app for the Apple iOS ecosystem or you want to do it for Android, you want to do it for I don't know, Linux and stuff. There's like so many different environments to develop for, right?
Yeah. So how does a developer make that decision if they had to pick one?
I mean, it's up to the most likely, like, where's all the money at, right?
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Where's the money, dog?
Yeah.
Like, I want to launch an app and make $100 million.
Yeah.
Right? That's most startups in Web 2 Silicon
Sure.
Valley, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
Why would developers build for the metaverse where there's nobody in it, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's just easier to build an app for the iPhone.
Agreed.
Right.
Yeah.
And so we got to break that line of thinking, because if we can make the argument that people are going to be onboarded to the metaverse through macroeconomic conditions, meaning AI and automation and all that, well, how are people going to do anything if there's nothing to do? And so we got to crack that egg first.
Yeah.
And we got to build platforms where developers can come in and make engaging content.
Yeah, so this is a lot of what we've discovered over the years, and I guess we were lucky to discover the metaverse from Decentraland, because even now Decentraland is still the only real environment that can support like applications.
Yeah,
because of their SDK and the fact that they continually improve it. Most other metaverse founders or creators, for whatever reason, they're just only looking to create these static experiences where people can just deploy 3D sculptures and make an experience of that. But it makes sense. We're in such an early stage. Again, it's difficult to support apps.
Yeah,
build the right frameworks for that.
Yeah, and so the frameworks are the most important part, because that's how you get people who believe in what we believe, developers specifically, and they'll be like, these guys are right. I'm gonna make an application, and I'm gonna use the frameworks and tools that these guys come up with, the ones that Decentraland has, and make something that people can engage with.
Yeah,
and so that's the difficult part that we have, is that we gotta be able to convince devs to contribute.
Correct. So MetaZone has had an interesting history. So yeah, we built this platform, and I think we did a good job of getting creators. I think we have over 200 creators, and these are all Decentraland native developers, 3D designers and stuff who believed in the concept, and they wanted to leverage MetaZone as a content distribution platform, right? Because MetaZone has all the built-in features where you can upload content that is functional, and then people can purchase these things called metas, which are mintable NFTs. Therefore, it gives the on-chain ownership provenance and aspect to a platform like MetaZone can recognize that, and therefore deploy them to the rightful owner, right? Where people who want to host this stuff on their actual digital land, the platform is there to make sure all of the mechanisms are in order, right?
Yeah,
not only that, people are deploying them.
Not only that, the marketplace isn't for landowners specifically.
True.
But it allows anybody who wants to be in the metaverse to purchase this content and then delegate to landowners.
Yeah.
So you become sort of like partners in this ecosystem where people purchase the content, they have other people owning the land, and you deploy onto that land, and you serve this purpose that people can come and interact on with whatever it is.
Yeah, and it's very, if you're struggling to understand this doesn't make sense, just walk out your neighborhood for a minute and walk down the streets of your commercial districts. Most of the people who are owning and operating these businesses, they don't own the land that these things are sitting on top of. This is an already very established
concept.
Yeah, understood
business model,
whatever you want to call it.
Yeah,
human architect.
Yeah,
of how to distribute IP, how to distribute value among different actors within society who want to support it, and of course take advantage of it. Right? This works. Capitalism has largely been built on this premise. You don't have to just own. If people who own land aren't just the only participants in the economy.
Yeah, imagine how many businesses would be out there if you had to own the land,
Yeah.
construct all the buildings, like hire all the people to run the business, and like get all the permits and everything like for that land, and like it would be impossible.
Exactly.
And and that largely that's what's required to build in the metaverse today.
Correct. And that's why I don't think another one of our thesis is we can't have a multi-trillion-dollar economy unless it it mimics how we've created a multi-trillion-dollar physical economy. And that's what MetaZone enables, where all actors of the metaverse can collaborate.
Yeah,
because the platform of MetaZone enables this type of collaboration through multi-party split contracts, where everybody has like a part in the operation of these applications. Yeah, from the landowner, the person who owns the content, which is called the meta owner. Who else, dude? The creators who actually built this stuff, the platform itself.
Yeah, there's like land managers.
Yeah, there's even that.
There's like even meta managers who take your stuff and like delegate it to the right people, and like sometimes they sell that land, so you got to take it off, find somebody else. Like there's a lot of work that needs to be done to be able to deploy this and like have businesses running and things like that in the metaverse.
Yeah. That's why we're classifying metas as like the first real businesses as NFTs, right? That really exists, because so far nobody's like minted like, a McDonald's as an NFT yet.
Yeah.
But this is like the first prototype to like, if metas work out in the metaverse, then I don't see why like McDonald's wouldn't adopt some sort of NFT standard to, or something to where, it could be much more less middleman involved, right? It's all automated essentially.
Yeah.
Within the smart contract layer itself.
That's right.
So that's what we've done. We've leveraged the abilities of smart contracts and embedded them as part of the NFT offering itself, right? And that's the only way to do it. Otherwise, you're going to have so much like convolution of like agreements among all these different parties, right?
Yeah.
Imagine like a business with like all these different like individuals involved in the runnings of it. And there's nothing really to keep people like honest and true.
Well, that's how the real world works, right? We have like these
there's litigation systems and stuff like that to handle all these disputes, right?
Yeah,
but
exactly.
If everything's already hard coded,
dude, exactly.
There's no dispute. Right?
Yeah.
Everyone has to agree, but that's why there's signature requests on every action on MetaZone, right?
Yeah.
Every party has to agree,
Yeah. So it's MetaZone is so much more bigger than just a marketplace where you can just like buy stuff. It is an alignment of all the parties involved in the metaverse.
Correct.
Which is a tall order for us. It's a lot of work for us to like figure out how we align everybody to build out the metaverse.
Yeah, so if you go to MetaZone.io now, which is like we've spent the last 6 to 8 months revamping our webpage, because we've like we said, we've been in operation since as long as Decentraland's been live, early 2020. But we revamped our platform because, we raised funds. We're able to do things like this now.
Yeah.
And this is still a work in progress. This is like the MVP of the new version of MetaZone, right? But it has a lot more enhanced features.
Yeah.
It's much more robust and intuitive, but man, we have so many more things we're going to add down the line.
Yeah, and just recently we were working with CyberStrife, and they're building out their own ecosystem of distributed metas in Decentraland, and this is the first one, and it went live just like yesterday.
It's true, and we were out there in Decentraland playing it. Not just us; there was a bunch of people playing them in different locations at the same time,
and it was cool because we were all collaborating, just like you collaborate in World of Warcraft to attack these enemies.
Yeah, I wish we could demonstrate that now, but I mean, imagine all this is. It's a piece of a game, right? This is.
I think I have a video of it. I ended up recording it, but like the quality isn't the greatest. Let me see. I think it's this one.
It's got sound too. It sure does. I don't know if you guys can hear this sound.
Yeah, I think we're waiting for.
Okay, so all these people are here to kind of like get their hands on the first like deployment of this meta, right? Which is called the generator.
Yeah.
For a MetaZone brand called CyberStrife.
Oh yeah, here we are.
So this is it. Somebody has activated the game essentially, and now everybody is tasked to basically defend this generator meta from the oncoming enemies, right? So it's kind of like a tower defense type gameplay, right?
Yeah, and so what you're hearing is a bunch of like feet like walking around, right?
Yeah.
But what is happening is these enemies are spawning and they're trying to attack the generator. And the cool thing is that we're all here in a shared space and we're all attacking these enemies together.
Correct.
And if you know anything about Decentraland, this is like a very complex structure to build within Decentraland.
Yeah.
But the notable thing here is that anybody can purchase, deploy this generator, and all of a sudden you have a place where people want to go to engage.
Yeah, like look where this they decided to deploy this generator in the middle of a dance floor.
Yeah. Yeah.
This isn't like a game decision. The person who created this generator, it's just a person who purchased it and deployed it decided, you know what? I just want people who are at my club to be able to participate in this game ecosystem simultaneously. So why the hell not?
Yeah.
Right. And then maybe between rounds, we could all get to boogieing again.
Yeah.
But that's kind of the coolness of the metaverse, right? It doesn't have to make like sense in the physical sense, right? Like it's just weird. It's wacky. It's totally new. You're not going to experience something like this in any other virtual environment.
Oh yeah, especially a physical environment, right?
Well, especially that. But even like in games, like most games are designed with a very specific purpose.
Yes.
The metaverse has like a much more like general purpose principle to it, to where like anything can go.
Yeah, that's right.
You know what I mean?
So keep in mind, like even though like you're not hearing much here, there was an event going on, and Resonator was the one speaking. Mm-hmm. He has a YouTube channel. And he has his own community, Cyberstrife, and he was just talking about the game and like how you play and how you get involved and how you get started. Where do you go to purchase one of these things? And how is it a part of this bigger ecosystem? So as we were playing, he's the one talking and conversating. So this is the next type of events that can be happening rather than going to listening to DJs, right? That's like the most dominant activity right now in Decentraland.
Yeah, basically, as amazing as like, that Fortnite concert where Travis Scott was this giant performer, right? Huge AAA superstar musician. Millions of people logged into Fortnite that day to catch a glimpse of that event. Yeah, in the future, there's going to be like, some sort of like boss killing event or something where millions of people are going to log in to work together.
Yeah, and we sort of saw that with Improbable and M Squared's tech, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm. We did attack an enemy.
Yep.
So you were saying?
Huh? No, that was basically just painting the picture of like where the metaverse is headed.
Oh, okay.
There it is. There's your boss battle.
Yeah. So right now there's a huge bee that spawned. Yeah. It shoots these orbs. Mm-hmm. And
this is it, and it's important to realize like all this is what code.
Yeah.
This is a game. Hundreds, thousands of lines of code went into just all the different individual actions that are enabled here, where you could fight these bees. These things are spawning, they're moving in a certain way, they're shooting projectiles at a certain thing.
Yeah,
whenever they hit, the health goes down.
Yeah,
if it runs out of health, the quest fails. Yeah, like all of these are functions.
Yes,
and this is what we mean about making these are applications.
Yes,
this generator is an app. It enables all these code and functions to be readable by the operating system of Decentraland itself.
Yeah.
So that's what we're kind of like showcasing here, using Decentraland as our beachhead example of like the metaverse needs to be nothing but this.
That's right.
The whole thing needs to support this type of functionality and this type of dynamic ability, right?
Yeah.
And this is just one example of what can be built on top of it.
Yeah. So just right now, I'm chatting with everybody, and we beat the boss. Yeah, it's like we did it, and this is like the first time.
You actually failed.
Yeah, we did.
We didn't realize you failed.
Yeah, we didn't.
You're like, oh no, we lost.
Yeah, so ultimately it was. So this enemy has multiple enemies, right? It wasn't that one bee. There's other tiny bees, like.
Well, I mean, it's
nobody paid attention to.
It's okay to fail, dude. If you played WoW or anything, failure is part of the process, dude. You would fail like hundreds of times before you actually defeat the boss.
And what's crazy is, so we failed numerous times at this, right? Mm-hmm. But we had significantly less people. Now with even more people, we narrowly passed it. Like it was right there, but we weren't paying attention.
Correct.
But with all these people, this is what's going to be required. Like imagine progressing in this game where you're required to battle with your friends.
Yeah.
Like how cool is that going to be? But that's like the fundamental expectation from people, right? And so now think of all the developers who see this are like, hey, I can make a better game than that, or I can do something different where it's like more engaging or has different elements, associated upgrades and NFTs and all that stuff.
Exactly.
So that's what's exciting about having the MetaZone platform, is that we can facilitate pretty much anything that could exist.
Yeah, and that's where the I guess like the call to action comes in is like, yeah, we spent so much time and effort, like I guess laying some sense of a foundation to get this like whole thing, this whole ecosystem to emerge, right?
Yeah.
Where now developers have access to something that they can build on top of and create whole experiences, whole ecosystems of like content applications that are able to communicate with one another. Because that was just one meta. We have another brand called Rovi's, which is actually a much more like fleshed out ecosystem model of what you could do with like multiple metas. All these different metas kind of like they communicate. They work together in a cohesive gaming experience that's distributed throughout the entire metaverse.
Yeah.
And so there's each meta has its own function, right? One allows people to upgrade these little characters called Rovies.
Mm-hmm.
Another one,
Rovies.
and another one allows you to transport materials from one user to the next, or even like on-chain to off-chain, things like this. Another one allows you to append accessories or craft accessories.
Yeah.
Another one is like a portal to a whole other dimension that spawns the enemies that these characters can battle against. Like the possibilities are infinite, right?
Yeah, and the most important thing about all that is that the ecosystem, our community, can own different parts of the entire ecosystem.
Yeah.
And so they're all hosting what it ends up being like nodes of a whole network.
Correct.
And each node has its own specific purpose.
Yeah.
Right? Upgrades, battling, appending new accessories and weapons. Like they all have functions. They all have like reasons for landowners to deploy and host this ecosystem.
Yeah.
And then the side benefit that you get from all this is that you gain a community that's like pushing your content that you've created.
Yeah.
And they're like pushing, they're getting people to come and play. Right. And so instead of like a Web 2 version of this, where it's like you make a game and then you're the one doing all the marketing, you're the one doing all the pushing.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what's totally different. Like, I like how Sophermian, one of our lead investor, kind of put it out on Twitter today. Like we're kind of democratizing like the ownership aspect big time when it comes to especially game IP, things like that.
Yeah.
And in a way, like a lot of other ecosystems cannot, right? That's one of like the innate cool factors of the metaverse, like, you know, being able to distribute content across the entire ecosystem, right? To different owners, doesn't matter who you are, right? You don't have to be like some sort of insider for a company or organization to have access to this type of experience, right?
Right.
Anybody can own these assets. And again, you don't have to even own land. You can just delegate them to, people who do. Or not delegate, we stake them, you know. So the platform supports all of that.
Yeah. So Sophermian, let me find our tweet here. So here we go.
Yeah, I guess while we're here, let's thank all of our...
Yeah. So with the support of our leads, Sophermian and CMT Digital, as well as other metaverse pioneers that include Test Ventures, IOSG, we have Infinity Ventures Crypto, Polygon Labs, MH Carnegie, and Lucid Blue Ventures. Charlie Hu, shout out to Charlie.
And the council.
Yeah, by the way, when we found the council, we had no idea Charlie was involved.
No, it was like a happy coincidence. You know, like, holy crap, dude, one of the council members is one of our investors, dude. That's wild. I thought for sure we're going to become council members after that.
Yeah, right?
But yeah, shout out to the council and all of the BRC20 ecosystem, man. It's one of the more exciting things developing in Web3.
Yeah, so, absolutely.
Yeah,
I never would have guessed we would potentially have like an entire DeFi, like practically Ethereum ecosystem on top of Bitcoin.
Not yet, but it's on the way. Yeah, there's a lot of ambitions at the moment.
Yeah,
not a lot of like follow through yet, but there's a lot of aspiring. Yeah, like exactly what we saw throughout the entire 2021, 2020. You know, that previous cycle of Ethereum.
Yeah, sorry,
it's TJ. About to literally just port over. Yeah, dude. Sorry, dude.
It's all right. We'll have our day in the sun again.
Yeah, I think everybody will. But yeah, right now it's Bitcoin's time to ruffle some feathers, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, shout out all of our backers, dude. Shout out to Decentraland again.
Yeah, Decentraland.
All of the invaluable experience that we've like harbored
by
developing for your platform.
Yeah, and Maddie, like,
dude.
just a few months ago, MetaKey raised some funds too.
Yes, and big time shout out to Maddie, DCL Bloggers. We wouldn't even be in Decentraland if it wasn't for him.
Yeah, big shout out to Maddie.
We interviewed him.
Yeah, we interviewed him, and that's how. So we discovered Decentraland 1 week, right, early in 2019, and we were like, who else is talking about Decentraland?
Yeah,
that was Maddie, the only one on Twitter talking about Decentraland.
The only one on YouTube. I was like looking up desperately, like some explanation, like what the hell's going on here?
Yeah.
Only DCL Blogger was like had some kind of knowledge, right, that he was disseminating.
Yeah, and when we interviewed him, he had like, I don't know, 7,000 followers or something like that.
Yeah, he's one of the biggest like thought leaders in the NFT space now and Metaverse.
And this was at a time where when we interviewed Maddie, we were trying to record like a video, and I ended up like screwing it up somehow.
Yeah.
And it ended up just being audio.
Damn, what a fail, dude.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, even just audio only, he convinced us of like the potential of the metaverse, right? And NFTs. Even at that time, NFTs were like not really, nobody really believed in them. Yeah. And like their value.
It was so weird because when we learned about NFTs, like, this is amazing.
Yeah.
It makes this is a big deal.
Well, because we immediately tied it to our experience in gaming. Yeah. Again, like if you're a gamer, you just, all this stuff makes so much sense to you.
Yeah.
But if you're not, it's going to take, you got to peel all those onion barriers back.
Yeah.
One at a time, dude.
I guess it's just a biased perspective, but it was just weird to me at the time. I was like, how is everyone else not talking about this? How are they not seeing the value that we see?
Well, I mean, that's our lives, literally. We're still there, like, with the metaverse, right? How does not everyone know what's coming? Yeah. What's about to hit them in the face? I imagine it's a lot like what these AI developers, 5 years ago were feeling. It's like, dude, how does everyone not aware, like, they're about to all be obsolete because of what we're doing, right? Yeah. And what we're thinking is, how does everyone know? Like, we're not about to just, save everybody from the AI doom, potentially.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
True. That's true.
Yeah, we're coming at it at a much more, like, positive angle than the AI space. I mean, the AI people probably thought much more positively, actually, now that I think about it.
Yeah, but there's some that are pretty scared.
They knew what was coming too, like Elon and
but they're pretty scared. I mean,
now they are.
Yeah,
they should have been scared a long time ago, dude.
Well, I think they were. I think the main one of the developers that was, I think, at Google DeepMind 5 years ago, he was like, "We better be careful with this."
Yeah, they should have done a little bit more than to slow. Like,
I don't even know what could you do. It's like,
I guess. But nonetheless, we're here. We're in 2023.
Yeah.
It is about to be June. We are where we are, dude.
Yeah.
So shout out everybody who supported us over the years, man.
Yeah.
For real.
DCO, Jason X.
Yeah, Jason X, P-Dub.
The
Rovi community, Green Chauffeur, Black Star.
Green Chauffeur.
All you guys.
Yeah, man.
Trey, Neb. Everybody who's core to our community, man. Shout out to all you guys.
Yeah, man. So it took a ton of work, man. Remember, it was like one of those days where it's like you try very hard to like accomplish something, and then it's like you always like swing and a miss.
Yeah.
It was like that constantly.
Yeah. And in no way like are we like this like crazy success story yet.
No. Not at all.
That's one of the big revelations of like, it's like, yeah, we raised the seed round. It's like, dude, that's like, you're barely scratching the surface of like what's left to be done.
You're barely starting.
Yeah.
That's the starting point.
Exactly. Like this whole like journey of, I don't know, like being a builder, an entrepreneur, whatever you want to say.
Yeah.
A tech person.
Yeah.
Somebody trying to do what Steve Jobs preached. Like, humans don't realize how elastic reality actually is. You can actually have an influence on things.
That's true. That's true.
If you believe in something strong enough, like you can change the world.
100%.
Right? So like, but the reason why most people don't realize that reality is that elastic is because the amount of force that's required to like bend it a little bit is tremendous, right? So people have to literally die almost to
that's true.
To have an impact like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and most of the time you're more likely to fail. Like that's the probability is that like 98% of the companies that are started fail.
Yeah, and there was a lot of points in our past, dude, where I thought for sure we were going to fail.
Yeah.
Literally because like there were moments where we're like shooting freaking buzzard shots, dude.
Yeah, it's like Hail Marys.
Yeah, where it seemed like, because I mean, if you know this Web3 market, dude, like there's booming bus cycles, and the bus cycles are like brutal.
Yeah, they're the worst.
Yeah, they seem like there's no way out of it.
Imagine losing like 85 to 90% of your value every cycle.
Yeah, that
It's
and like
hopeless.
you lose 90 to 99% of the interest, and
Yeah,
like
yeah.
the people who were backing you like in the early days, like they find other
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 shiny things.
yeah. It's like, oh, look at that AI thing. Let's
Yeah.
go talk about that.
Yeah.
Things like this, and you have to persist no matter what.
Yeah.
You got your whole
Yeah.
family telling you you're crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The whole family. It's like, what are you doing?
Yeah, what are you doing, dude? Aren't you in your 30s?
It's like-
shouldn't you be like,
Shouldn't you have a job?
shouldn't you be driving a BMW by now? Stuff like that.
Yeah.
Where's your suit and tie? It's like,
Yeah.
"Dude, I'm doing something else, guys.
Yeah.
Give me a chance.
Yeah.
Like, let me.
And then it's like,
Yeah.
well, what are you doing? It's like the metaverse. It's like,
Oh
the
my
hell?
god.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then trying to explain like
It's
crypto and all that is like,
All those. Yeah.
it's the
exactly.
worst.
All those are like bad words. I might as well tell them I'm like, ISIS. That'd probably be more favorable. It's like, oh, I'm in the crypto and metaverse industry. Like, dude,
Yeah.
I don't know if I trust this guy anymore.
That's right,
But
that's right.
that's what we battle, right?
Yeah.
On a
And
day-to-day basis.
and they just don't see what we see. Like, it's like this guy. We're this guy at the party, dude.
That's
It's like they don't know.
that's actually you, like at every party you've been to. Every single time, dude. You're
It's
like
like-
trying to warn everybody about everything,
Yeah.
but nobody listens.
Yeah. Yeah, we always talk about that often. Like, how do we make people listen? Like, how can we get people to listen?
Yeah, and my response is always like, just stop telling them. We just have to like
Show
lead,
'em.
show them, lead by example,
You have
Yeah.
to have a Lambo.
or
Yeah.
that.
Or that, yeah.
You literally go down that route, but that's not in our personality wheelhouse. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Even if I was a billionaire, I'd never get a Lambo.
yeah. You say that now. It's gonna be like a Tesla Lambo or something, like electric Lambo.
Well, yeah, the
Then it's
roadster.
like then it's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. But yeah, so there's been a lot of struggles, man. But so I guess big takeaways is we're just beginning.
Yeah.
Even though it's been a 4-year endeavor for us, and we got a lot on our plates. We got MetaZone, we got Rovi's, we still got the Block Runner,
Mm-hmm.
and then we're going to onboard new third-party developers who are going to leverage MetaZone now that it's more matured, like CyberStrife. We've worked with Ethermon in the past,
Mm-hmm.
and we know there's going to be more to come
Oh, yeah.
because there's tremendous value to be unlocked.
Yeah, and most importantly, the brands that are looking to enter the metaverse, they can exist in a way where it's completely distributed across multiple lands rather than one location.
Yeah, that's a big concept in itself. Like
Yeah.
and again, all you gotta do is look to the real world to
Yeah.
to validate these ideas, right?
Yeah.
Starbucks didn't just like deploy at like in one corner of Manhattan.
Yeah.
You know, it's like we're good here.
Yeah, right.
No, dude. Like when you're a significant brand or you have a lot of value as a company or organization, a product, whatever, you want to distribute all that value and influence across the planet.
Yeah, you are distributing an access point to your brand.
And whatever products you put out, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
That's what's contributing to our economy in a lot of sense. right?
Yeah, yeah.
The metaverse has the same like principles or the same foundational
Mm-hmm.
architecture to support this like distribution mechanic, right? And
Yeah.
MetaZone is the facilitator of that.
Yeah, imagine if you wanted to get like a Budweiser and there was only like one location on the planet where you could get that beer.
Oh man,
How successful would Budweiser be?
not at all.
Yeah, no way.
Yeah, that would be weird. Like every economy would just be like a local like neighborhood economy,
Right.
Essentially.
Yeah.
And like, there would be no reason to have like, nationwide anything.
Yeah, and yeah, communications, like why would you need to communicate with anybody past like 50 miles?
Right. That would be really bad for humanity, I think. They would create even more like tribalism and more division amongst
Yeah.
people if like we weren't able to collaborate on a global scale. You know what I mean?
Right.
This is important. This is what's factored into a lot of what's made humanity like such a sustainable, in the context of all of human history, like this last 100-year period, I'd say was probably
Yeah.
like the most fruitful, the most sustainable,
Yeah.
even the most peaceful in a sense, even though we had world wars in the beginning of it.
And nukes go off.
There's some some anomalies of non-peace. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But again, in the scope of humanity's progress, like the last 100 years has produced a lot of good.
They produce the most good in the history of humanity. So
Correct. Because of these things, these principles that came to fruition, and like the pioneers who set down the groundworks for them to exist. And of course, the entrepreneurs who leveraged them and built out, all of civilization at this point, which it's gotten to a scale though, like where some actors got their hands on this stuff and kind of manipulated it a bit.
Yeah.
Might come rip it all back down at some point in the near future.
Yeah, and that's expected because that's the game that we're playing, right? It's an all-win scenario. That's the incentives are for that purpose.
Yeah.
But yeah, we have a long way to go. The metaverse is still one of the more interesting developments, at least in the crypto space.
Yeah. Yeah, we have a huge task on our feet.
Yeah.
At our feet to prove a lot of these theses is right. And even though we just had like an hour long or so discussion on this stuff, I think we barely even like touched the surface of what it is we really.
Yeah, we're gonna keep talking about it just because it's really important. I mean, of course, it's biased for us to say that, but I think it's important in general for the right type of development to be occurring in the metaverse.
Yes,
and otherwise, we're just gonna be battling an uphill situation the entire time.
Agreed. Yeah, we can't do it all, guys.
Yeah. Even though we try.
Yeah, we literally can't just sit around and wait for everyone to, build these pieces. Up. It's basically, so far what we've seen, like the closest, like Improbable and M Squared are working on very important stuff.
Yeah.
That's the closest we've seen to some other, organization, go down a pathway of, again, laying down proper groundworks for like these economic fulfillments to occur,
Yeah.
So hopefully that turns out good. We should know more about that in the next 6 to 12 months.
Yeah, the Bored Apes Metaverse, the other side, it looks really cool.
Yeah, you best believe we're going to integrate.
Oh, yeah.
We're already like planning on it.
Yeah.
Because...
Imagine thousands of people on screen, like playing that game that we're playing in Decentraland, thousands of people attacking each of the enemies.
Yeah. Oh, fuck yeah.
Dude.
Oh, yeah. Exactly.
Oh, so dirty. And then the landowners are incentivized to like host these things, right? And so... like that's what's going to attract all these people. People are not going to come to that metaverse just to like do nothing, right? They want to do something.
Yeah, and this is the beginnings of like, again, figuring out just the architecture of how we can even build ecosystems on top of the metaverse through things like metas. And then what comes after that is like, now we're going to be able to inject more of like the value of Web3 in those ecosystems. Things like tokens, fungible tokens, more additional NFT ways to earn and mint these NFTs, right? And that's what's going to, again, build the economy and the awareness from the entire broader Web3 community. And then they're going to seek the virtual realms. Is like, dude, this is the new grounds of Web3. Like, this is where you actually get the value from.
Yeah. And
just like they saw that with DeFi.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. And what you're alluding to is we're establishing parallels. The same thing that we talked about earlier, what happened on Ethereum, NFTs and ERC20s, right? And we're starting to see BRC20s on Bitcoin and ordinals, NFTs on Bitcoin. And the metaverse is going to experience the same thing, right?
Yeah.
Right now we have NFTs for the metaverse. And then eventually it's going to be fungible tokens.
Yeah.
Right? We already seen that with Decentral Games, with
Decentral
Ice.
Games, Ice Poker. They did a very good job of like...
yeah, it was great.
Pushing down a wall of like what's possible. They showed the world that, that you could build an ecosystem, an economy, and
they were generating something like 20 million a month or something like that.
Yeah, so that's just like at the beginning, So they'll go down in history for sure. It's like they proved it in the same way Axie Infinity proved that like Web3 gaming has value. You could onboard millions of people into a Web3 ecosystem, and they could find, again, sustainable value out of it.
Yeah.
Even though it was for a short period of time, it doesn't matter. Like, they broke the mold.
Yeah.
And then people are going to innovate on top of that. And like, everyone's going to stand on top of their shoulders.
Yeah, 100%.
Forward,
Yeah. Us included.
Yeah, us included. Anything else to say, dude?
No,
I'm sure there's a ton.
Yeah, there is a ton, but let's watch this. So
okay.
This is 2 minutes long, and we're going to talk over it so it doesn't get like demonetized or whatever the hell.
Okay, I'm seeing NVIDIA right off the bat.
NVIDIA. So if you're listening to the voices right now, definitely check out our YouTube channel because we're showing some cool stuff here. So check this out.
Oh.
We're thrilled to showcase an immersive and dynamic interaction between a player Kai and a non-playable character named Jin. This captivating ramen shop scene was created by NVIDIA using the latest RTX rendering technologies.
Dude.
NVIDIA collaborated with Convey, an NVIDIA Inception partner, to showcase how developers will soon be able to use NVIDIA Riva, Nemo, and Audio to Face for AI-powered speech, conversation, and animation. These models were integrated into the Convey Services platform and fed into Unreal Engine 5 and MetaHuman to bring Jin to life. Please take a look.
Dude, that looks cool.
Ramen shop, eh? I'm hungry now.
That's what you do in the cyberpunk universe, dude.
What, visit ramen shop? Hold T to speak to Jin.
Press F to pay respects.
Jin does not look like he's happy to see me, dude.
Hey, Jin. How are you?
Unfortunately, not so good.
I knew it.
How come?
I am worried about the crime around here. It's gotten bad lately. My ramen shop got caught in the crossfire.
Can I help?
If you want to do something about this, I have heard rumors that the powerful crime lord Kuman Aoki is causing all sorts of chaos in the city.
Damn, dude, he's
He may be
dropping
the root of
names.
this violence.
Yeah.
Just like that.
I'll talk to him. Where can I find him?
I have heard he hangs out in the underground fight clubs on the city's east side. Try there.
Damn, dude.
Are there
Okay,
underground
I'll
fight
go.
clubs in real life, dude?
Be careful, Kai.
I think so.
You have to ask, Will.
Wow. Is this GTA 6 or something?
I don't know.
Feels
but
like it.
Feels like if you die here, you die in the real world.
Wow. So
yeah, that was okay. So that was part of a presentation by NVIDIA, which is the new $1 trillion company in the world right now.
it really is, yeah. Literally.
Yeah, and it's because of AI. I mean, dude, AI is everything.
Well, it's because they have their everything of the future is going to depend on NVIDIA. Freaking everything.
It's so okay. So this video in particular, you're using AI to interact with the character, with the NPC character. So you're literally talking to the NPC, and he's talking back to you.
Yeah.
So that's how you're going to interact in this game. I don't know if this is a game or just like proof of concept, but but that was it. It was just now there's ways where you can inject AI into gaming so that it's a new element to kind of the gameplay aspect of whatever you're building. And I mean, obviously with Unreal Engine and all that, it just looks the best.
Yeah. Agreed. And is this why they pump 30% in a day? Or
I think this isn't exactly the reason, but it's part of it.
I guess the market correlated the advent of AI and its obvious success and future implications to NVIDIA is literally the and I guess AMD too. All these graphic processors, this is the computational power that needs to be aggregated in order to support these machine learning models, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Which and then we look at Bittensor, same thing, right?
Yeah.
Even though you're building a distributed system,
yeah,
you still need all this stuff.
Yeah, 100%.
God damn, dude, what a genius!
Yeah.
Now that's a company that ain't going anywhere anytime soon. That's for sure.
Yeah, let's look that up. So I was doing some just checking. Bittensor. I don't know if you saw the price.
I did. I only because my friend Chewy just keeps spamming me with it.
Shout out, Chewy.
Shout out Chewy, dude. Yeah.
Yeah, man. We had the interview with Jake, co-founder of Bittensor.
We literally
we pumped
catalyzed the whole market, dude. You get
so annoying.
Thank you, Bittensor community, dude. We literally pumped the whole market.
I was looking to invest more, but god damn it.
Oh, did I say thank you? I meant you're welcome.
Yeah.
No, I know, but same here. I was like, dude, we should have scheduled that thing a few months later.
Yeah.
So we can, accumulate a bit, Disclaimer, we do like Bittensor a lot. It is one of the more interesting projects we've seen for sure.
100%.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and if you don't know what Bittensor is, I implore you to go watch the interview and go watch our videos on Bittensor because we explain everything and it's very cool.
Yeah.
Not sponsored.
Not sponsored.
NFA. Not financial advice.
I guess I don't know. Would you say we're sponsored by MetaZone now?
Yeah, I would think so. So yeah, you guys who watch our 20-minute upload videos, you're gonna experience something new.
And the podcast too.
Okay,
Yeah.
if you guys are tuned into our channel moving forward, you're gonna experience these things called ads,
Yeah.
bumpers, or whatever you want to call
Bumpers,
them,
yeah.
of our stuff, our own stuff.
Yeah.
So because obviously, the YouTube stuff isn't all we do.
Yeah, correct.
We use the Block Runner channel and do all these investigations to enhance ourselves as founders, as creators.
Stay up to date,
Mhm.
understand what our platform needs. Maybe there's new tech that we can leverage, like AI.
Always.
We got to think about how we're going to integrate AI into MetaZone.
We already have AI like in our Rovi bots.
Yeah.
Using ChatGPT and their APIs, but at some point we're probably going to be able to leverage Bittensor or some other API,
Yeah, 100%.
ChatTensor, right? So that if we weren't aware of these things emerging in the Web3 space, we wouldn't.
We get left behind, like
Yeah.
Blockbuster, dude.
Exactly. Just like Blockbuster. So if it wasn't for the Block Runner, we would for sure end up like them.
Yeah.
So we're going to continue down that path of discovery and, of course, dissemination. We're going to try and just tell you guys what we learned along this because we've been doing that for the last 4 years, and man, it's invaluable, dude.
It is.
Yeah.
Dude, I love doing this.
Me
It's
too,
like,
dude.
It's like research. Dude, that's my jam. It's like learning.
Literally is your jam, dude. It's like you're out there, everyone else is trying to like watch a movie or like,
Yeah. It's like, no, I'm going to read.
yeah. I'd rather research, like what is AI?
Yeah, what
stuff
is
like that.
BRC20? And
Fuck, me too, dude. I'm right there with you, man.
yeah.
So we're definitely on the right path. And yeah, all you guys who supported us, man, this is just the beginning of our journey.
Yeah, for sure.
We got a long way to go.
All right, guys, that's been the Block Runner. Let us know if you have any questions. We talked about the metaverse predominantly. What's going to make it work? What's going to get people involved? A little bit Bittensor, our investors. Thank you guys for all the support.
Yes, thank you. Tremendously.
Yeah.
Yeah, like we said earlier, dude, we didn't know if it's all, man, like I guess last thing is it almost feels like the universe has chosen us, dude. Like, and I don't know if hopefully that doesn't come across as like
pretentious,
too grandiose, but
Yeah.
like you hear all these like stories of like successful startup founders about like how crazy their roads were. Like there's so many instances of where like luck could have just not been on their side.
100%.
And like I feel like we've already had several of those moments.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
Yeah, because of the grand scope of our vision and our beliefs, the fact that we're still here and that we still have a pathway forward, it's like, man, it feels like the universe is really helping us out here.
Yeah.
You can call it the universe, you call it God. I call it God. You call it, I don't know,
The universe.
Physics, math.
Physics, yeah. Probabilities.
This is just math working this thing out, basically. But whatever it is, dude, like,
Yeah, I totally agree.
I feel like it's on our side.
we can't underestimate it because this goes back to one of my favorite quotes. Luck is the intersection of preparation and opportunity. So we
Or
were
is it-
we were prepared.
Okay, yeah.
We were prepared by doing the podcast, by creating MetaZone.
Okay.
The opportunity was
The metaverse.
the metaverse. Yeah,
Yeah, well, right place, right time.
that's right.
The metaverse needs contributors and people to like,
Yes.
make it come about. Just like
Yeah.
the internet did, just like all technology needs people to like
Yeah.
build this stuff.
Technology doesn't just manifest like a
No.
like a flower just grows.
Right. It's not
people,
it's
people
not,
got to work.
it's not a natural process.
Yeah,
You're
it's
right.
not. It's not.
It's totally human enabled.
That's
So
right.
We're definitely putting
Yeah.
all our human into this.
Take that AI.
That's right.
You wouldn't exist without us.
Dude, they're gonna remember that, dude. You're fucked. You're so fucked.
All right, that's
Yeah.
it for us. I appreciate it. Make sure you follow us on Twitter at the Block Runner, at MetaZone.io, and at Rovi AI, and we will catch you in the next podcast.
Peace.